allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will pause our general meeting and turn it over to Maurice to for the Board of Finance meeting.
Okay, we will open the Board of Finance meeting, and then I will turn it over to Teresa.
Good morning. Our main reason today for the Board of Finance meeting is to, one, approve the minutes from the prior meeting from January 17th, but also to review or open and review the cash management bids that we have received. I sent out to Lake City Bank, First Source Bank, First Federal, Community State Bank, and First National Bank of Monterey, all asking if they would like to bid on the cash management. Excuse me. And the only ones I received was First Source and First National Bank of Monterey. And I have those with me. We normally go through these maybe a little bit, and then we table the discussion for further review, and then also make the award at the meeting on March the 20th. I have not totally looked through all of these bids. They both are very inclusive as far as different services that they both offer as far as positive pay, which is a good thing to kind of protect our checking account, both First Source and First National. There are, unfortunately, some fees with First Source that we do not have with First National, but I will let you guys look at these as well. So actually, the main thing we need to do first is to approve the minutes from the prior meeting. I sent those or had those. Yeah.
Second that.
Okay, got a motion, second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
I don't know if you want to take these bids and look at them, or if you want to come to my office and look at them. It's up to you. I mean, I don't know which would be easier.
Are the interest rates comparable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And they're a little bit better than last year's, of course, because the rates have been coming up. It's very good. But
So the fees issue is the main issue,
yeah.
of course.
I mean, and First Source is local, which is good, you know, as well as First National. So that's always a plus. You know, you get very far out like Madeiryville or something like that, or, you know, run into the access issue, especially with weather.
I'd say that
Yeah, I had a quick question. And if you did make a decision, or we made a decision, which, how big a job is it?
Well, we have to order all new checks.
Okay,
Because it's a totally new bank account, and that's our main bank account that we write checks out of for claims.
Yeah.
And that, and plus, I mean, the other bank accounts would stay with First National because we have others. Yeah,
so that'd be kind of a big deal.
it really is.
Okay,
Yeah. Right, right. And we'd like to,
I guess I'd make a motion to table it for now and let Teresa have time to study it more thoroughly and come back on March 20th. Recommendation.
okay. Yeah, we got a motion, second. Further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Table?
Is there anyone else has any questions, any bits of comments or anything regarding anything else besides the cash management bid, or if you have anything about the cash management?
No. Question?
Okay. Okey doke. And I just need a motion to adjourn the meeting then.
Okay,
So moved.
there we go. Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will reconvene the general meeting. We have Wendy with us. Or-
Okay, we are back following the joint session recently to provide you with more information about the broadband consultant that we raised at that time. Scott Rudd was here that evening and shared with you a little bit about his experience. I think you also have his bio, which really lays out how fortunate we are, I think, to have this fellow working with us. So the ask is that the county now assume that contractual relationship with him, and he has put it in a form in front of you now that you can review. It does show up to 15,000 would be the total. But he also has indicated that this is flexible. He said, I mean, a lot of this work relies on this task force, which is Kurt is the chair. And they're the able and willing bodies, but it does take, effort to get people rounded up and get on the task. So as quickly as they're able to move on some things, that may cut down on the time that we need Scott's assistance over the year. So this is a proposal, but just be aware there's some flexibility in there on that total. And I think you see that in task force support in a variety of ways. Even as educational assistance, you will also find, I think, on the second page, he lines out some upcoming opportunities that will want to pursue, and that's the next level connections round 4, which he says he anticipates to be coming out in the second quarter of this year. That's something we definitely want to, be a part of. And those are the kinds of things that he can tip us off to, make us aware of, and assist us. Kurt maybe can share a little bit more about.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, if you look at Scott's history, he came into private enterprise himself right after he stepped down as the director of broadband in the state of Indiana. He wanted to, go out and find some right clients, if you will. We were fit for him. Scott has been very, very reasonable. He has done more than I think we've paid him for, if you will. And so he's coming to us to help see this through completion. So I think we're getting a very, very good rate in my experience, having dealt with IT professionals, consultants. We don't anticipate using Scott for any more than we have to. We want to do as much as we can ourselves. We're non-paid volunteers, essentially. We understand value of the dollar and making it go as far as we can, but we also understand we don't have unlimited time and we need his help and expertise to point us. Here's where you need to go push this rock up the hill. Here's where you need to go ask for money. He brings in some credibility when we sit down with the provider, asking for money and grants. We do expect to continue to ask for these grants, whether that be locally from the community foundation, whether that be from the state, from the federal government. And his help in guiding us will be invaluable. We'll probably capture things that we are not even aware of, right? That he is aware of because he orbits in that whole, IT broadband space. So we think it's a more than reasonable ask. Having come, like I said, from a county that was almost literally exactly in the same position that we are, he's got firsthand experience, not to mention the fact that he has all these connections that we can utilize. So we understand it's a big ask, but we think it will pay off in spades for this county.
I think when we had our joint session, I think we pretty much agreed at that point to help fund this 15,000 the ARPA money. How has he been billing you? Is it on a monthly basis? I mean, we would have to pay this through a claim. I think we paid out of the rainy day fund currently till our CD comes due. in June.
He-
So what's the billing process?
Yeah, well, again, he's fresh into the consulting business last year with us. We really only were billed a couple of times, but he does have in this proposal for a monthly payment.
Okay.
Now, he's available by phone here today too, if we need to ask him about that flexibility. I think his business was just getting underway, and that may be how he, as Kurt said, I think he was more invested in wanting to help us than worried about the dollar. So,
Is there a fee schedule or a payment schedule that's more desirable for this county? To pay?
Quarterly or-
Quarterly or biannually or?
I'll refer to Laura on that.
Chuck, to be clear, the county hasn't been paying him to this point.
Right.
That's all been, so it hasn't come to my office at all.
Right.
But that's what presumably would be the process, depending on whether we do it out of ARPA or out of the appropriation the council approved for me last week, whether it goes to me or directly to Laura, but
Okay.
we've got that in my budget.
Okay.
The ARP money last week's discussion was for the broadband plan.
Right, 50.
The 15 can come out of my budget. That was one of the points I had made to the council, asking them to keep the full 350 and not to cut it after we figured out that discrepancy, was that we could just take that 15 out of there instead of going to ARP, looking for another avenue.
Okay. Don't bill us, bill Nathan.
I think we
So,
need your name on the dotted line, however, Chuck.
You want me to go ahead and sign this? You want to sign it?
I would
Okay.
prefer you sign that, Chuck.
So we need a motion to approve hiring Scott to continue in this process as he's been doing and helping us out greatly, it sounds like.
So moved.
Any other discussion?
Looks like it's well spelled out here.
Yes, and I guess just to clarify too, that his point of contact, rather than coming to you each time he needs information or to make a point, he will likely reach out to the chair of the broadband task force, Kurt or me.
And that's going to be more efficient for all of us.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
just so that that's clear.
I did the motion. Mike, second.
You want to sign? I'll sign your copy and spell it. Give one to them.
Okay. Sure. Sounds
Unless you
good.
really want it.
No, I don't need it.
That way they
Okay. Looks like a really good investment for the county.
Oh,
Thank
we
you. We
couldn't agree
appreciate the
more.
support.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Welcome.
Nathan?
Good morning, everybody. First on the list, couple of quick courthouse updates. Had a call with Luminot and consultants on Friday, the 10th of February regarding security and technology issues. Sheriff Schramm was on there along with former Sheriff Richwine and Sergeant Rogers, hitting on some various tech and security related issues. Still some work to do on that, but made some good headway. We have a steering committee meeting tomorrow at the sheriff's office, and that'll be in person with a number of Luminot team members up here, going over a lot of general design issues as well as some specific interior design finish issues, getting into that stage of the drawing process. And then I've got a meeting, a walkthrough on Thursday through the buildings, mostly the courthouse, with the same furniture restorer and woodworker out of the Grass Creek area who refinished the attorney tables for Judge Welker to look at some of the historic pieces in the courthouse that we are ideally hoping to refinish as needed and to keep in the building as opposed to replacing. So finally starting to pick up the pace a little bit on that project. On the Justice Center, VA Dodd, as I said would be the case, came back and addressed that CASA noise issue. I have not heard any complaints since then. I was there and listened to it as they were finishing it up, and it was almost too quiet in there. So that has finally been fixed. Like I said, Ton and Blank worked some magic so that we didn't have to do change order or anything, and it was a very minimally invasive process, almost entirely with just removing drop ceiling tiles, no cutting into walls. I have received one of the two proposals that we're hoping to get for panic alarms. As I have previously relayed, we had those in the old prosecutor's office, as well as in the rest of the office suites in the Justice Center. It was overlooked in the design process, told Judge Welker and Prosecutor Gomer that we would come back to this toward the end of the project when we knew what kind of money we might still have available. We have about $140,000 minimum in that fund. It might actually be more, but I'm being conservative with those estimates. The proposal that I do have from New Age Telecom, it adds them as needed for the prosecutor's office and the court, but it also replaces the existing one so that they're all on one system instead of multiple systems, and so they all have the same effectiveness. My understanding right now is that if the Superior Court bailiff rings a panic alarm at the bailiff's desk, all they learn in dispatch is that it is an issue in the Superior Court. They don't know if it's in the courtroom or if it's in the court offices. And so there have been a couple of instances where somebody has gone to the wrong location. Additionally, we have security personnel at the front door now. There is no immediate way of notifying them if there's an issue. Now that station would be looped into the system. So if Judge Welker's at her bench and has a system, she can hit her buzzer. And then if the person who's causing the scene is gets past whoever gets out before security get to the courtroom, front desk security know that there is somebody in the building who needs to be stopped before they exit. So it'll be a much more comprehensive and effective system. The contractor who I think does fire alarms or smoke detectors for us is also submitting a proposal. That's supposed to be here today. As soon as I get it, I will, or sometime this week, I'm sorry. As soon as I have it, you'll have it, and we can discuss it at the next meeting, but I wanted you to be apprised that that is moving forward. Like I said, we have 140 minimum in there, potentially end up more, and that's in the construction contingency, whatever Ton and Blank has not used on their side. That is more than 3 times what it would cost, we would need to cover the first quotation. So we've got more than enough in. One other thing I mentioned in the email I sent out to you, I wanted to go over is that at some point after construction was underway, it was brought to my attention that the carpeting in the Superior Courtroom is in really bad shape. That wasn't considered in the design process because we didn't do anything with existing structure except for where it was actually required for the project. So some stabilization in the jail offices, and then obviously turning the prosecutor's office into the court offices. But after Judge Coker brought that to my attention, I told her that we would see again what things look like at project end and see if we had the funding available. I don't know how much it would cost to replace the carpeting in there, but I wanted to get your position on whether I could look into that, see if after the panic alarms, there's still enough money in contingency and how much of a logistical headache it would be to do a final change order this late in the project. I suspect that the money will be there. It's just like mostly a matter of whether we want to spend that versus putting it towards the first or to the next bond repayment, and how big of a headache it would be to have the architects do some quick measurements and drawings and to bring the same subcontractor back, hope that we can find carpeting that fits the budget and potentially matches what's there. But I'm not in that courtroom very often, but my understanding is it only has worsened since the judge first brought it to me. So right now I'm not asking for a commitment to do it, just want to know if you're okay with my investigating whether it's reasonable to accomplish.
So wouldn't the carpet people come in and do their own measurements to go by rather than having?
And they may. It's really a question of of whether the architect has to coordinate with them, I guess, to draw up the official change order request.
I think. Yeah, I think might as well check it out.
Yeah.
while we got time.
And like I said, worst case scenario, Ton and Blank says it's too late to try to make it happen, or it's too expensive and we don't do it, but at least we tried.
Right.
Okay, I will get on that. Thank you. Very quickly, the roof above us, I've submitted the builder's risk application to Kyle Conrad per his request, just waiting to hear back from him on that. Materials are scheduled to arrive here on the 3rd of March, and Ton and Blank is ready to start tearing up the existing roof on Monday, the 6th of March. And then and in your packet, second on the back page, you have a calendar of the project construction as it is planned. To see everything include turnover will be early April, closeout documents done before the end of April. And lastly, joint session last week, I had brought up the possibility of looking at county-owned property on the north side of County Road 60 North for the housing project. Councilman Bennell had expressed some concerns about drainage on the site. Talked to a couple of people affiliated with the town of Winnemac. They didn't think it would be an issue, but I am going to meet with Councilman Bennell today to get a better sense of what his concerns are and see if what he says makes sense to the town guys, go back and forth and see if that is a concern or something that we could probably get around. That's all I've got unless you have questions.
Anything else for Nathan? Okay.
Thank you.
Down to other business. We have claims and payroll number 4.
Okay, so I have reviewed the claims and the payroll number 4, and I would make a motion to approve as presented.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we have the regular minutes from our February 6th meeting.
I've reviewed those minutes, and I make a motion to approve as presented.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then we have the MALCON contract for fuel tax refund. Assume this is a standard procedure. And basically, we just need one signature. Okay, so we have the approval of the contract for the preparation claims for the fuel tax refund from MALCON.
Motion on that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I would, so moved. I'd make a motion to approve that.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we have a conference request from Jolene to attend the district Clerk Behny concert at Swan Lake Resort.
I would make a motion to approve that request.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then discussion on J&K putting a freezer box outside the coroner's building. I think this was part of the initial thoughts, talks about air quality and so on. So I think, Maurice, you got maybe a follow-up on this, because I know you've been involved with where it's located and why we have access to it.
Okay, yes. So Brent Smith from J&K has access to this one from a project that they are, need to get it removed. It's being replaced. Not sure exactly where it would go. For sure, probably be some concrete slab and go outside, but it sure looks like a good improvement that we should take advantage of, a good opportunity. So that's about all I know. I just initially met with them one time. And
I think there is a quote there for $18,200. That is probably just for electrical and all that, the hooking the freezer up. It doesn't include, preparation of the building or preparation of a cement slab or any of that nature. So maybe we need to table this until we get some bids also on construction side of it. We felt our maintenance could do things, or at least get a bid. But was there a timetable when this freezer had moved?
Between April and July, so it's a pretty big window.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we still have time.
Yeah. And when it gets removed, it doesn't have to go in right away.
So it was part of that air quality thing. But,
I'll make a motion to table it until.
okay,
Oh, okay, so I would second that.
moved and seconded. Favor say aye. Project now.
Aye.
Then we have the Cumulative Building Fund. Email from Laura dealing with this as well. This morning she had a conversation with the State Department. So I think we're still checking on procedures, but need to say here, Laura? Okay, so we need a motion to advertise public hearing on this community building.
Okay, I would make that motion.
Any other discussion? Kevin, you have any comments on this one?
Laura and I have talked about it. No, nothing today. Did you say what day you picked, March 7th?
March 20th.
And you're gonna post this notice that you gave me? In the paper? Yeah, I can do that today.
Just to make sure because there's no sense in publishing it.
Yeah, just give me your number.
So there are two separate ones here.
Yes, there's a Hume Bridge and a
Hume.
Yes.
Of the notice
Yes.
sent us. Okay. And just a couple other comments from county offices. The emergency management performance grant was approved for $20,292.50. So, again, we have a new person in that position. It's good that we have the grant cleared, and I think this agreement goes from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th of. And then just maybe kudos to our recycling people. This is a note or an email from Cheryl Wiseman, who's a district person. But in a note to John, after the inspection, it says, no violations, probably the cleanest little transfer station I've inspected. Nice job to you and your employees. So that is good to know. Any other comments from the board, Kevin or Laura?
And Gary, did you?
Anything else, Nathan, from you? Okay, let's have a motion to adjourn. And after the meeting, we have our insurance people here to give us an update. Squeezed them in between now and our 9:30 drainage board meeting.
Okay, so I would make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.